The movie starts with university professor and archaeologist Hooper searching with his dog for his family, who disappeared while trying to discover the Fountain of Youth in a cave in the 1970s, which according to legend, its waters are able to restore and preserve youth and health. When Hopper arrives at the scene of the accident, he finds the cave, so he goes to the entrance and lights his flashlight to see a cowboy dressed in clothes from an earlier era, standing in his place motionless, as if he was inanimate. Hopper gets scared and goes home, and it turns out that Hopper planned to discover the cave with his colleagues Tyler and Jackie, but when he arrived home, he told them that things are different now, without telling them what he saw, and decided to return alone so that none of them would be harmed. As soon as he reached the cave, he tied a rope through a large rock and went inside, finding a layer separating the outside world from what was inside the cave, so he entered, and as soon as he entered, the cowherd moved. 2 days have passed since Hopper's exploration trip, and Tyler and Jackie have not heard any news from him, so they decide to search for him at the cave. So they called Taylor's girlfriend Kara to come in her father's car. She came with her sister Vievs and her classmate from school Phoebe. The group arrives at the cave and finds the Hopper family's car. They learn that Hopper wants to find his family because he told them he wants to find missing people from the 1970s. They find an old rope extending into the cave, and they trace it to find it severed from inside the cave. They rule out that it belongs to Hopper because it is a very old rope. They decide to go down to the cave from a hole at the top using ropes. And they all go down to the cave except for Phoebe, who was afraid, and Kara discovers the same separating layer that Hopper discovered 2 days ago. She says that the atmosphere inside is different from the outside, and they penetrate the layer and enter the cave. At the same time, Hopper is following the cowboy and feels that something is not right, and sees an intermittent light coming from the entrance to the cave. And he hears a screaming sound, so he gets scared and runs away from the cave quickly, after he stayed inside for about 5 minutes, to notice that the time has become night, although it entered the daytime, and also the shape of the place is different, and when he goes to his car, he finds it covered with plants, as if he left it for decades. He finds Kara's car and Jackie's bag, so he decides to go back to the cave. While the group is exploring the cave from the inside, they hear the screaming, so the girls get scared and decide to get out of the cave. Jackie tries to get out using the rope, but it breaks and she falls to the ground, and Tyler gets hurt trying to save her. Then Tyler pulls on the other rope, and it turns out that it is also severed, so they think that Phoebe is the one who did it as a prank. They try to communicate with him by walkie-talkie, but he doesn't respond. After that, they hear a distress call from the walkie-talkie, so they think it is Phoebe, and they had to leave Jackie alone because she couldn't walk, and they headed to the other side of the cave. They find a severed rope, and Phoebe's body with his neck broken. They also find his camera next to his corpse, and watch the video to find out what happened. They see Phoebe filming himself browsing Hopper's father's notebook, which states that the cave contains magic water that is able to cure any disease, and because Hopper's sister was very sick, her family came to find magic water in the cave to heal her. They also see that Phoebe has been waiting for days for them to return, so he decided to enter the cave to find them after he thought that something bad had happened to them, and to take the car keys from them and return home. They also discover that while Phoebe was going down the rope severed and Phoebe fell, but he didn't die. He passed out for an hour, and when he woke up, a primitive man came to him and killed him. Vievs noticed that the timing in the video is wrong because they entered the cave only an hour ago. Because Taylor and Jackie are injured, Kara and Vievs left to go out and find help. Kara chooses to get out first because she is the biggest and climbs the hole they entered from and manages to get out. But she finds herself in a completely different place, and finds no trace of life, only desert and rocks, and the air is weird, and she can't breathe due to lack of oxygen. And she sees a huge sandstorm coming towards her, and a strange triangular ship in the sky. And she couldn't call 911, so she returned to the cave. When the group saw her, they told her that she had only been gone for a few seconds, but to her she had been out for around half an hour, so they understand that the time inside the cave passes much faster than the time outside, and the events inside the cave pass very slowly. Tyler says that the ropes were cut off because they remained outside the cave for a very long time and became old. Vievs repeats the video and notice that the sun rose and set several times quickly during Phoebe's fall, and that the 4 seasons have passed, and a whole year has passed in seconds. It turned out that the group has been in the cave for 5,400 years, which for them was minutes. Kara climbs out again, but a ladder with very advanced technology enters from the hole, and a huge man in alien clothes comes down. Then the primitive man appears and attacks him, but the man manages to kill him, so the group gets scared and runs into the cave, to find the dead cowboy and the Hopper family murdered. Then 3 primitive men appear, and it turns out that they are the ones who killed the Hopper family, so Tyler attacks one of them, but the primitive man brutally kills him, so the girls get scared and run to the other side of the cave, and then Kara returns to Tyler, to find him dead and cries. After that, the alien man appears and takes Tyler's body, and puts it in water in the cave, so Tyler returns alive. Then primitive men come and attack the alien and take off his helmet, so he suffocates because he can't breathe without it, but he managed to beat them before he died. While dying, he shows them videos of the media talking about their disappearance, and it turns out that humans have abandoned the Earth, and moved to another planet so that humanity doesn't become extinct. This is because the Earth has become uninhabitable, so the group knows that there is no way to return, and either they leave to the new planet, or they stay in the cave for the rest of their lives. Tyler sees Hopper wounded on the ground, and in front of them is the separating layer, and on the other side they see Hopper's sister, who has been missing since the 70s, and with her many people from different eras, all of them frozen while fighting for the Fountain of Youth. Hopper explains what he concluded, which is that the cave is a time system intended to protect the fountain, and each layer has its own speed, and the time in the deep layer in the cave is slower than the layer they are in, and the group uses the magic water to treat Jackie, and they put Furby's body in water, so he returns alive. And suddenly a primitive man attacks them, so they find no way to escape except through the ladder brought by the alien man. They climb the ladder and reach the hole to find a separating layer, so Kara tries to penetrate it, but hands of strange creatures appear and grab her, and it turns out that they are humans after the development of their bodies over the ages, and they give her a mask so that she can breathe. After that, Kara returns to the cave wearing a spacesuit with a rope with advanced technology from the future, and takes out the group including Hopper and his family. Finally, they all survive and are on a spaceship heading to the new planet.